Welcome to Dating Days. This is Jeff Kimes, the host, creator, and producer of the podcast where we talk about love and sex and breakups and everything related to dating. And like I do at the beginning of all the episodes, like tell all your friends to listen to Dating Days on Apple and Spotify and numerous other platforms. And also give a 5-star rating if you can, and leave some good comments. And you can listen to the comment episodes. Some of them are pretty funny. And also there's been some actual more new good comments. So that's always good. And you're in the Colorado, in the Denver area, you can go down to Kate's Wine Bar and tell them you heard about Kate's from the Dating Days podcast. And it's a great place for first dates and girls' night out and you know, to just have a drink with your friends and tell them that you heard about it from Dating Days. And I have my co-host here, Mindy.
Hello, everybody.
And we, Mindy and I aren't very good at dating, apparently, because we've been doing it for a long time and we still haven't found the love of our life, or at least even somebody to stay with for a few years. Although there's been I guess I was with...
Been a couple people in there, Jeff. I mean, I've taken the last year off of dating just because I don't have the time with family obligations to...
We're going to need to get you back out there in the field, Mindy, so that we have some more stories.
You need more content.
Jesus.
Okay.
So do it for the podcast, Mindy. Forget about your obligations. But we bring other people on here that have a little more experience. And this time we've had matchmakers on here before, and some of them are even actually here in the Denver area. But this time I have a matchmaker as our guest that is international. And so, Yulia, why don't you? We always ask this, Yulia, and I already.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. What's your status? What are you single, married? What's your story?
I'm married. Yeah. I'm married in a very young age, when I was 20.
Okay.
And my marriage lasts for 21 years already.
Wow. Okay. Well, you just did it right. The
children.
Stuck with it the first time you got it right. So
in my country, in my culture, it's actually norm when people get married when they're 18 already. So it's not something surprising. Yeah. So people can start dating and like in 1 year. For example, they start dating in school years, and when they graduate from school, they already get married, and they can enter universities together, continue already their studies, the students in the university, and already as a married couple. It's quite usual. It's not something extraordinary for our culture.
Yeah.
Wow. But of course, it doesn't happen that all people are mature enough for this marriage to last for a long time, for the life term.
Yeah.
Because usually people don't have enough experience, life experience, to understand if it's right person, or people change in time.
Yeah.
In years, they can go in different directions. Maybe initially they were perfect for each other, but then after 3 years, even when they study, their minds change.
Yeah.
So
you why don't you give a little background on, like, you are Ukrainian, but did you grow up there, or go to school there, and where are you now?
I was born in Ukraine, so I'm fully Ukrainian. I had my education in Ukraine. I have university degree in Ukraine, so I'm fully Ukrainian. And right now, just because of war events, I had to move with my family in Romania. But we continue working, doing our job. Our company is Ukrainian company. We're specialized in international matchmaking, connecting Ukrainian women with men all over the world.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw Yulia's profile or something on Facebook, and because these people that do what she does will, the algorithms make us cross paths or say you might know this person or whatever, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we see there's my so it's a little early. It's 9 o'clock here or 10 o'clock. So you don't do a shot when I say at this point, unless
5
depends on
o'clock somewhere.
yeah. You could be listening to this at midnight, so shoot it up. You take some shots of vodka or whatever. But
Jeff just can't learn.
So now there I go again. But I got off track. Oh, there is I don't know about women, but like I get a lot of these like meet women from Ukraine or meet women from Europe or something. Like it's, and I don't know if it's legit or not. And so that was one of the things. Like I was like, I think a lot of them you click on it and it probably just takes you to some kind of a porn site or something like that. So, but this seemed like legit. Like, hey, this is how you could meet somebody, and I've heard of a few people that had not, they weren't Ukrainian. It was at least one of them. Like, this was, probably like 10 years ago, was a Russian. Somehow he would meet this woman from Russia and she'd come here and he married her. But so I've seen, I know. Go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting, Jeff. So I was going to say, so if you could just tell us a little bit about how dating works there in her culture with her business, because it'd be interesting to compare to like matchmakers that we've met with in the US. Yeah. So I'd love to hear more just about how your business works.
So we work in two directions. We propose individual matchmaking. But of course, it's not like dating somebody next door, because it requires for a man to travel to Europe to meet a lady. And we also propose option of speed dating events in Europe. We have many clients from the USA using our service as individual matchmaking, and also who come to Europe for speed dating events. So it's quite efficient for people who don't want some distance communication, some relationships at the distance. So they just come on the place and meet people at one place. It's kind of concentration of single ladies and single men. And they meet each other like this. About if we talk about individual matchmaking, we have very individual work with client, because it's a responsibility. It's big responsibility for us as feelings and emotions of people involved, first of all, and also because people need to travel far away for meeting a lady. That's why we need to be sure that clients come to Europe for meeting and he gets results. So we do our best for this. So he doesn't come and gets back home without any results. So we try to do like that.
Yeah. So I thought that when I talked to Yulia.
So are you geared towards?
No.
I was going to say, are you geared towards dating or marry? It sounds like you're more geared towards finding somebody to marry.
Yes. So our vision is exactly to connect people who want marriage. So they are sure that they want marriage. Man is sure that he's ready for international relationships. He is ready for bringing lady from another country, or he is ready for relocation, because some men, for example, they are ready for relocation to Europe, or they can live in two countries, in two continents, for example. And lady also is ready for international relationships, and she's ready for relocation.
And then where are the majority of your clients from?
I think that 50% or maybe even 60% of our clients are from the USA. The rest of the men, it's mix of different European countries. Different, like France, Germany, Norway, Scandinavia countries, different, Spain, Italy, Japan also, so absolutely different. Australia, South Africa, New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And then but 60% of all these clients, they from the USA. And it's like, a recommendation of one person to another person, and it works like that, like snowball.
Got it. So they tell their friends, and then their friends.
Yes. They seek the couple of his friends, and he likes what he sees, and he can observe this couple for several years. So at first they're thinking, at first they're contemplating what is it, because not all men understand if they need international relationships. But when they meet for several years and see that these relationships are very harmonious and comfortable, healthy, they also decide to try. Sometimes it happens that like older generation recommends to younger generation in the whole, in one family.
Yeah,
so it's quite interesting.
I'm curious. There's kind of two sides to this. One, why are the men that use your service, like what's their reason for doing that, right? Like, because it's a lot harder to like fly to Europe and you know, select somebody there and then bring them back here versus, you know, just finding somebody local. And then the other part of that, and I'll ask both of these now, is like, why are the women doing it, right? Like they live in Ukraine and they're going to have to, like, I'm assuming, like, leave their families if they get married and move out of the country and things like that. So those two things, like why the women do it, why the men do it.
So I will start with ladies, with Ukrainian ladies. First reason is big disbalance of male and female population in Ukraine. So according to the statistics of 2021, we had disbalance 3 million people, and in certain age group, this disbalance is so high. For example, like in the age of 40-45, we have for one man we have 10 women. And it doesn't mean that this one man will be glad to have any relationship, would be interested in any relationships, and he would be healthy, adequate for any relationships. When
the war's over, I'm moving to the Ukraine.
What?
When the war is over, I'm moving to the Ukraine.
Yes, and some men, when they come to Ukraine as tourists, their heads are like that in all directions, because they see lots of beautiful women everywhere, looking good, different types, visual types, blondes, brunettes, every type, and they have a more solid interest to search among Ukrainian ladies. And also, right now, due to war events, situation is even more critical. So ladies don't have men for relationships, really. Very big problem. And in the past, before the war, there was also a problem with morals of men, unfortunately, in Ukraine. So many men, they were not really devoted in relationships, and there was big problem with this. So many women many women said that they don't want any more experience with Ukrainian men. They just want to try anywhere else. But when I talk to men from USA, they tell me the same, but about American women. I don't know, but my wife cheated me with my old friend, or such stories all the time. You know, I hear it all the time. So
yeah. So what would you say? I
don't understand.
What would you say is the reason that the men come to you, you know, rather than like just keep looking wherever they live?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't understand.
The men that use your service, like, what's their reason for looking internationally? Or
of course, I cannot say about all people, but people who come to me, men who come to me, they either saw examples of their friends who met Ukrainian women, or either they went to Europe and saw women there in Europe, in Ukraine, and they want to try. They like femininity, they like visual types of women, that they're quite soft-hearted, really tender types of women in communication, just in general. Of course, they didn't try relationships yet, but the first impressions they got, they like this impression. And all these men usually come after very, very bad experience in the USA. And some of them, they try after the divorce, they try dating locally. They try also matchmakers locally, and sometimes they just give up and they just try to look everywhere outside of the USA. For some men, we are good for their search. Some men, they try in different parts of the world. Some men, after their divorce, they even don't try to look locally. They just start searching immediately somewhere outside of the USA. So they say that I like old-fashioned type of relationships, traditional relationships. I want feminine women. I want elegant type of a woman. It's like from old times, you know. They want the type of woman they had maybe, I don't know, maybe like in 90s, that type of woman. Because men, they're visual type of people, very visual. So they have these images and they compare them with Ukrainian images with Ukrainian type of ladies, and they like what they see. And also by character, they like character. It's like combination of quite traditional family values, and at the same time, Ukrainian women, they are very proud ladies. They're not like some Asian type of women, like Philippine ladies. I don't want to to say anything bad about somebody, but I mean that Ukrainian ladies, they are not like sovereigns or something like that. So they are very independent. They're also quite proud, but at the same time, good combination of traditional family values and independence.
Yep.
Everything within reasonable limits.
And so, what would you do? You notice a difference in like the or maybe men tell you, or what you see in the men, like that, like you mentioned that maybe even in Ukraine, like maybe some men they're not as interested in like long-term relationships or marriage or that kind of thing. What about the difference in men between the two countries?
You mean Ukrainian men and, for example, American men, right?
Yeah.
Oh, again, I cannot talk about all men in
just
the USA.
Generalizations, like what you.
But people who come to us, they are so devoted. Even men, for example, when we had meetings organized in Ukraine before the war, so all men came to Ukraine for meetings. Usually, like 95% of meetings took place in Ukraine. So even when he was surrounded with so many beautiful Ukrainian ladies around, he was looking only at this very lady with whom he is talking, whom he is meeting, to whom he came. But Ukrainian men, you know, when he is sitting, he is looking everywhere, looking at all these ladies. They are lost in the amount. They're spoiled. Ukrainian men, they're spoiled.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, we cannot say again about all men Ukrainian men. It depends on his also upbringing, his values. But many men, they cannot control their instincts.
Yeah.
American men, he came and he's focused on this very lady. You know, he doesn't notice anybody around.
Just zeroes in on that one. Mindy, what's your experience on that? Mindy, what do you think?
On men zeroing their attention on you versus looking around? I think it depends on the guy. I've certainly had, most guys I would say are focused on me, but I have had a couple that were more flirty with like the waitress than myself.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you're just rude.
Yeah.
So it's insulting. Obviously it makes your decision pretty quick that you're not interested in them though.
Yeah. What kind of age range are you looking at here for the men that are coming to you, and you mentioned that a bunch of them, but like what would you say is the most common like ages that men that come to you, and then the women too, like, because do you recruit the women or do they come to you and go like, hey, I need to find a husband, or how does that work?
About women, we have so big amount of requests from ladies all the time because we work for more than 20 years. So, of course, many women, they know about our company, that we're a big company in Ukraine, and recommendations again. One friend met a man with us and she recommended to her friend. So right now we don't make any special, put any special efforts for recruiting. Mm-hmm. Some clients who had very limited criteria, they ask us for recruiting, but I don't have time right now for this, really, because it's better for me to give attention to men with quite easy, flexible criteria than to give lots of my time to one certain client. So it's not my style of work for now. And about the average age group of people who address to us, men usually 45, 55.
Yeah, okay.
This age group.
And are a lot of them divorced, or they never been married, or all different?
All of them had bad experience. All of them came to us after bad experience. So all of them had already some marriages or long-term relationships, and they just don't want to date locally.
Yeah,
but again, also we have young men who come like 30 years old.
Uh-oh. It froze there.
After a recommendation and after seeing his friend with Ukrainian woman. And he also wants this type of woman. And also we have clients like 70 years old.
Okay.
So also quite old men.
Yeah. And a lot of the women that are in your that you work with, are they divorced, or like have they already been married, or are they looking to have kids? I mean, obviously, their age, but I'm just kind of curious about that. Like,
about ladies, average age group of ladies who come to us, 35, 40. So it's a majority of ladies.
Yeah.
Also, again, we have younger ladies who come to us. We have a client, 18 years old. She already understands that she wants a man from outside of your country. Because you don't need to be in some relationships. You can observe people around, relationships of your friends, men, how they behave, and women. Young women, they make some conclusions already even in this age that I want different, So, and of course, there can be some influence of mothers. We have such clients who came because her mother asked her to join us.
Okay.
But usually it's quite wise advice. It's not like forcing somebody for something. We have also older ladies, like in their 60s, but all of them, they're good looking, they're very active people, they're attractive. So they're interesting for men. So if American man 70 years old, he's dating lady 60, they're very they look very nice. And also I wanted to underline one interesting detail, that if we compare Ukrainian men and American men, especially American men, I always say that American men look 10 years younger than Ukrainian men. Look 10 years younger, physiology is younger, way of living, way of thinking, usually, because if we propose to 60 years old lady in Ukraine to date 30 years old lady in Ukraine to date 30 years old man in the USA, it doesn't work. She will be like mother, like older sister for him,
Yeah.
We would always say 30 years old lady in Ukraine needs to date 40, 45 years old American man. It would work like that. Otherwise, they wouldn't look right with each other, equal with each other.
So what would you say?
And ladies also look older. In Ukraine, ladies usually look older for their age.
What age Ukrainian woman would you say would go with a 58-year-old man, American man, would you say?
58, usually in their early 40s, 45.
Sweet. Yes.
Jeff's asking for himself.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But this couple will look really harmonious. They wouldn't look like daddy and his, I don't know, his daughter. No, they would look really as harmonious couple.
Yeah. So
I don't know why. Maybe it's like influence of different poles, position on the earth. I don't know, but it's true.
What
there are some
just curious,
reasons for this.
are there any Ukrainian women that are skiers? Just kind of wondering. So
Can you repeat again? I didn't
are
hear.
there any Go ahead, Mindy.
He wants to know if Ukrainian women ski.
Do they ski, on snow in the mountains?
Yes, of course. We have lots of ski resorts, because I didn't expect that you would ask about skiing after this. Is a process communication. Yes, we have ski resorts in Ukraine, Carpathian Mountains, and in wintertime it's tradition for the whole Ukraine to travel for skiing.
This is sounding really good to me. This I wasn't really so okay. So
we have right now we have tendencies that many Ukrainian women they move to USA for this program for refugees from Ukraine. So right now we have more and more ladies from the USA addressing to me, Ukrainian ladies, to find a man for them in the USA. So it's very because they also cannot find themselves there locally. They don't know how to find this man.
Yeah.
The men are they're walking like that, afraid of women.
Yeah. You mentioned this, but I don't know if it people listening or Mindy really heard, one of the things you do at the beginning when somebody, a man comes to you or men come to you, is you'll set up this like a speed dating kind of a scenario where you have them meet a number of different ones just so that you can kind of see if there's better match there. So they don't just meet the one.
For example, right now in November, we plan because I stay in Romania with my family and I communicate a lot with Ukrainian community here, lots of Ukrainian single ladies here. So I decided that, and men, they always tell, Yulia, do you have some speed dating events in Europe? Please arrange something. I don't want distance communication. I just want to come and meet and to be sure that I will meet somebody. So the best option is to come to the place where there are lots of single people at one place.
Yeah.
We also filter for these events. We filter the age of people, so there is not mixture of 20 years old ladies and 70 years old men. Of course.
Yeah, right.
So we filter that there is maximum close age at these events, and we also plan events in Poland. Because in these two countries we have big concentration of ladies, it's close to the border with Ukraine, and men can come without any problems for meeting people. We help them when they come here, they visit such events, speed dating events, and after the events, of course, they travel from far away. They devote enough time for this trip. We organize for them also. We help them to organize individual meetings. So if they like somebody at this event, we talk to the lady, ask for her feedback. So he doesn't need to do anything, trying to find her phone number, to ask her what she thinks about him. If she's interested, we talk to the lady, we ask her, so he doesn't need to guess about anything. And if there is good connection, mutual interest, we organize meetings for them. Also some excursions for men in general, because you travel to Europe, you want to have maybe some skiing, for example, to go skiing somewhere, some sightseeing. There are many different places.
What happens?
How many people do you usually have show up for these speed dating events?
What do you mean show up? What do you mean?
How many? Attend?
How many? Usually we don't create very big groups of people, because one event is usually like 10 men and 10 women.
Okay, so that's good.
maybe sometimes more ladies, a little bit more ladies than men. We try to divide into small groups, so there is no big amount of people at one place.
What happens after they meet? So let's say they go to one of these speed dating events, or even after that, and then you're like, hey, these two like each other, and maybe they what's the process after that? Usually
ladies waiting for some initiative from men. So in Ukraine, it doesn't happen that woman would start hunting for a man. She's waiting for initiative for a man. She can. In our company, we have client managers. So every lady, she is attached to the client manager. So she talks to her client manager, and she says, I like this man. Can you ask him if he like me? She can do like that.
Yeah.
So we can give some hints to him. We can tell him that this lady is interested in you. And also men tell me, Yulia, I'm interested in this lady. I would like to meet her. Can you ask her for her feedback? Would she like to go out with me? When she can go out? Also, not all women who are our clients, who are in our database, they can visit these events. So we can propose men to meet ladies who didn't visit these events. So we do our best that he meets somebody during this time, during this trip. So he comes back and he has good connection with somebody, and they develop relationships. As they plan to meet again very soon to strengthen this connection.
Yeah. So after they've met and they've sort of established like we like each other, and I mean, do they just date for a little? Does the man stay there, or do they text each other long distance, or the guy comes back, or at some point, let's just say it all starts to work out. Like, how long after they meet are they like, hey, moving to another country or whatever, or getting married or something?
So, for example, he came at this speed dating, and he likes this lady, and she likes him. He has, usually if man comes from the USA, he takes 1 week for sure for this trip. So he has 1 week for meeting this lady, spending time together. So if everything is okay, they spend this week together, they travel somewhere, they meet somewhere. After he goes back home, they continue texting each other, talking in video regularly. So everyday contact at a distance. And usually they meet in 1 month or in 2 months. They agreed to meet again. The place where they meet, it's individual. He can come again to Europe, or they can meet somewhere close to the USA, because for citizens of Ukraine, it's not so easy to come to the USA due to visa limitations. And usually people meet, if we talk about speed dating, they met at speed dating, then they met again one more time, and they already can talk about, man can invite her to his place just to see how he lives for 1 month, usually like 2 weeks, 1 month. So he invites her to look around how he lives, so she can understand if everything is okay. One of our recent couples from the USA, he's from the Washington state. They met 2 times, and he already invites her on permanent basis. So already he asked her to move to him. So they are working at her visa right now to move to him. So usually people need 2 meetings to understand.
Wow.
Because people who come to us, they already understand what they want. They're clear in their minds. They don't have any hesitations. They don't say, sure, I'm not sure. So he's sure and she's sure. If they have good attraction, chemistry, don't have any conflicts, everything is good, and he invites her to his place.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious, and I don't know if you'll want to answer this question, but like, how much does this cost? Like, so if I came to you and said like, hey, I really want to meet a Ukrainian woman and whatever, like, how much is it?
For our package, individual matchmaking, a package cost is the same as like speed dating events. So visiting 4 events during the trip and individual matchmaking with all service involved has the same cost. It's $1,500. So it's quite cheap in comparison with American prices.
Definitely.
It's even not comparable.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a reasonable amount.
Because we're a European country and we have European prices. It's usual for Europe.
Yeah, as usual, the great stuff is cheaper in Europe than it is here. So
Yes. It's that's why I think that it's stupid not to use this service.
yeah,
To lose your time at some dating. I mean, online dating websites. I also want to underline, like you mentioned at the beginning, Jeff, that many men, if they look like Ukrainian lady, they search on the internet Ukrainian lady. Of course, they have a huge amount of websites, online dating websites with lots of beautiful photos of Ukrainian ladies. It's waste of time. So my recommendation is not to lose your time chatting, all these things. You
yeah,
don't chat with real person. It's just scam 100%.
yeah,
And usually they put all these model photos. The ladies don't, they look good but not like that. They are not look like from pages of magazines. All ladies are like that. So it's a scam, just lost of time. And I'm surprised that some men use these services, serious men, but they could use specialized, very individual matchmaker service. For me, it's not understandable. They spend so much money
yeah,
there. Maybe they don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Another thing, like, what's your experience like? Because it sounds like you've been done this for a long time. I mean, like, a woman moves across the world, marries some guy, and I mean, she hasn't spent a lot of time with the guy, and the same with the man. Like, he hasn't spent a lot of time with the woman, and then they move in, and then you really start to get to know each other, and because it's so fast, you didn't really know all these things, and so then, like, how does it work out long term from what you've seen, this kind of thing?
You see, I can tell you that people really try to know each other very well during all this time together. They use this time together with maximum use, maximum, They talk a lot. They put lots of questions. They look, of course, for the lady, it's quite risky to travel there. Of course, she's cautious, and that's why he's always under the control during these meetings. So she's looking at him, but. We didn't have some bad cases, because people people want normal relationships. They don't want any problems, and usually there are common goals, morals for future. So I don't see any problem. Didn't have any problems after they're moving in the USA. Really.
Yeah.
Men, they don't hide anything. Ladies don't hide anything, because what is the sense? He spends lots of money also for all this traveling, meetings, and then she will say bye-bye to him. Yes, if he has some surprises, she will just say goodbye and goes back home.
Yeah.
He also doesn't want. So usually they're quite open. They tell everything. They show videos, everyday life. And she comes to stay with him for some time, meets his close people. Yes, of course, she can come and she doesn't like something. That's why she comes. That's why she needs to see everything with her own eyes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's usually people make this decision about being together after much consideration, after learning a lot. They don't do this like under emotions.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is interesting. I don't know. Have you ever? Okay. So on TV here, there's like on Netflix or something. There's a couple of shows. There are these matchmaker shows. One of them is the Indian matchmaker. Like the woman, Asian Indian, like which I think is more traditional, like to just have the matchmaker puts two people together and they meet one time and then they get married. And then there's another version called the Jewish matchmaker, and I watch these shows and I'm like, they meet one time or a couple of times and then they get married, and I'm always just wondering, like, how does this work? So I don't know.
Because maybe in Indian culture they're used to, my parents said that you need to get married with this man, so they follow the direction of other people. In Ukraine, it doesn't work like that. Still, people choose each other by feelings, by emotions. There should be not just some practical factors, but also feelings. It's very important.
Yeah. So what is what, Mindy? I don't know if you had any questions that we haven't brought up yet, Mindy. Anything?
I'm curious how the war has impacted your business. I know you mentioned you're in Romania. So how has that impacted single life in Ukraine?
Of course, it impacted because our job became even more popular among Ukrainian ladies.
Oh, wow.
At first, it was difficult because we organized everything, that meetings took place in Ukraine and all ladies lived in Ukraine, like majority, 90% of ladies lived in Ukraine. But then I had to change a lot because women are spread all over the world right now, and we had to change how to organize meetings, where to organize meetings. For example, right now it's if man comes from the USA or from Canada, for example, from quite far away, I recommend him not just to come and meet one person, because you never know what will happen during real time together. And we also explain to ladies that man will meet several women during his trip. You are not in relationships together. You are just try to see each other in real life.Maybe you have good connection, maybe you don't have good connection. For lady, it's okay, because she says, okay, Yulia, I don't feel any connection with him. It was nice to meet him. Goodbye. But for the man, he's sitting in another part of the world, and it's not very good situation. That's why I recommend to plan several meetings when he comes to Europe. And right now we need to sometimes organize meetings in different countries. It takes time for us to plan his flights. We assist with all these travel arrangements, help, because it's not so easy to find local flights for men. They don't know the system, all these hotels and things like that. So it became more complicated in one sense, but in another sense we have more work right now, because more ladies address to us, and men, they became also more active in addressing, really.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I had even a feeling that when war started, men wanted, I may never have a chance to meet Ukrainian lady. I need to do this this very moment. So they became very active. Why I was waiting for so long time? I need to do this very moment. I don't need to wait anymore. So.
Yeah. So what? We haven't even said what it is. What's the name of your company? Like, how do people find you?
The name of the company Olympia, and my name is Yulia Sarbash, matchmaker Yulia Sarbash. So there is information about me in the internet, a lot of information. But right now I even don't advertise much, because I have enough clients by recommendations, and it's very good. It's very good because people are more trusting. When a client comes to us just from somewhere, from Facebook, and he doesn't know anything, I need time to prove him that he can trust, that we are somewhere far away from him, who we are. But of course, when we get a client by recommendations, it's much easier.
Yeah. So I'll put when I post the episode on Apple and Spotify and stuff, there's the like episode notes, and I'll put a link in there to Olympia. So like if anyone's listening and they were like, hey, I'm interested in that, they could do it. And I'll make sure that it's the right one. So I don't know. I think
yes. So I will send you a link to Facebook and Instagram, so people can look and see. I try to give some information about our work there, so people can understand in general. And they can always write me in Facebook or Instagram. I will explain in details how it works.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So I don't know, Mindy, if you have any more questions, or Yulia?
I don't. It's all been really informative and
Yeah.
fascinating. Thank you for taking the time, Yulia.
Yeah. So I think
Yes,
that
if you're interested, and maybe it can be also interesting for people who listen to you, we can maybe organize some conversation with one of our couples, American man and Ukrainian lady, so they can talk. Also, it can be interesting experience. Just
that could be. Yeah, I'll definitely reach back to you and see. That could be an interesting episode. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, all right. Well, so I think we'll end it here. This has been really interesting. It's something, like I said, that I was always like, wow, I wonder if this is number one. Like, is it really legit? Is this actually a thing that actually happens? And so it sounds like, yes, in some cases, not just like anything on the internet, you got to be careful. And
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Here in this sphere, you need to be careful. Online resources,
right.
Online dating, it's very not reliable at all, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll put some links in the episode notes, how to get hold of Yulia, and I think we'll end it here. And remember, to tell all your friends to listen to Dating Days, and also if you're in Denver area, go down to Kate's Wine Bar in downtown Littleton, and the music that you hear under the episode, beginning and at the end, is from Blue Dot Sessions. So you get a subscription, and they specialize in podcast music. And remember, go out there, have some fun, try not to hurt anyone, and try and fall in love.